What's good, Portal people? It's your girl, Rachel Ricketts, author, alchemist, and spiritual abolitionist. Welcome to April's Sacred Somatics. So, every month, in addition to the monthly channeled message, I will also be sharing an accompanying Sacred Somatics practice to support us and our 3D vessels as we move through the tomfuckery of these times. Okay. So, this month's Sacred Somatics practice is about contraction and expansion and supporting our bodies and our auras, which I think are part of our bodies, not our physical body, but our, energetic bodies, um, to find a little more ease and expansion during these times. Because when fear and violence and genocide ramp up as they have been, we can find that our default is to constrict or contract. That's like a safety, a defense mechanism that makes complete and utter sense. 111, as I'm saying that. But it can be helpful for us to have more awareness of what's going on in our bodies and our auras so that we can be in more choice. And when we have more choice, it supports us being able to move with more agency and move from and with center and be in right relationship with self, with earth, with sky, and collective. So the practice is, first and foremost, if it supports you to close your eyes or lower your gaze, to do that. Let's take 2 cleansing, centering breaths. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just let it go, let it go, let it go. In through the nose. Hold at the top. Exhale out the mouth. Let it go. Let gravity hold you a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, where you can find a little bit more ease in the body. And then from this space, just noticing, like, where am I contracted? Where's there tension in my body? Is there tension in my body? Maybe in the jaw, that's where I hold most of my tension, in the shoulders, in the stomach or the guts, in our butt cheeks. Where is there tension in my body? Where am I contracted? And as we do this, we may also just notice if we're seated, if we're standing, if we're laying down, even however we are, like, is the position of my body right now, what is happening in the position of my body? So a lot of us may actually find that our shoulders are like hunched forward and our spine may be like rounded. We may find if we're seated that we are leaning forward. A lot of us will lean forward. And that's like a very natural response to like hesitation and anxiety and like kind of bracing of like what's to come next. 333 as I share that. So just noticing like what is my default position right now without judging. We don't need to go into a whole narrative or story about like what our body is up to, but just noticing. So noticing where there's contraction, if there's contraction or tension, holding, even if it's just slight, noticing that. And then also, or you can do one or the other or both, noticing how our body is positioned. So I'm seated right now, and I notice as I do centering practices every day that it's really helpful for me when I'm intentional about my body. I generally want to lean back a little bit to find my center, and just my shoulders want to come back a little bit. And here I can be a little bit more aligned with myself, with earth, with sky. My neck can like become a little bit longer. And when I'm here, that creates more expansion actually in my body. My shoulders can release a little bit more, creates a little more space for my throat. Then my jaw can have a little more space. And it just helps to alleviate some of the contraction. And then also notice emotionally, like, how does this feel to have a little bit more space? Maybe that feels scary or unfamiliar or uncomfortable. And that's also okay. Again, we're just noticing right now what's up for us. A lot of us are contracted. A lot of us are tense, rightly fucking so. Makes total fucking sense. And let's also take a moment to thank our bodies because our bodies are so wise. Thank our bodies for whatever shape it normally is holding because it's doing that for a good reason, right? It's doing that to support us, to protect us. So we're not shaming it. We're not making it wrong. We're just noticing like what is the default shape my body likes to be in? And is there another shape that's maybe available and perhaps actually more helpful to me right now or feels better for me in this moment? We're just noticing. And we can do this practice anytime. We can come back to this throughout the day. Like, oh, hey, what's going on in my body? Where am I holding? Where can I find a little more ease, a little more tension? Am I sitting, standing, laying down in a way that actually doesn't allow me to be in right relationship with myself or others? And is it possible for me to 5, 10, 15, 20, 50%, 80% more find uh, a shape that is more, a little more, or a lot more supportive? Yeah. Um, Also can be helpful to notice like how do I feel, what happens in my body when I'm in certain spaces, when I'm in certain conversations with specific people, jobs, places, whatever. Again, slowing down, just noticing where am I contracted? Can I offer myself more space? And what situations actually induce more contraction? Like I'm guessing a lot of us contract if and when, like when we watch the news, when we're on Instagram and we see the latest update of like Zionist genocidal violence, like makes sense that our bodies, I contract just saying those words makes me contract. And so again, just noticing like, okay, that makes sense. And I can take a breath and come into this moment and be centered and this allows me a little bit more space. And then moving beyond the body, if that feels aligned and resonant for you, because we are more than just our physical being, our auras are also always contracting, expanding, moving in flow, in flux as we are. So, energetically, can we notice when our auras are contracted? So, when we are physically contracted, a lot of times also our aura will contract as well, energetically, again, to protect us, which makes a lot of sense right now. And it can be helpful to allow ourselves, if it feels sufficiently safe, or to cultivate safety within ourselves, to allow our auras to expand. And just a note here, confirmation verb, just a note here that it can feel okay. So our auras can constrict and contract when we feel scared or yeah, we'll just go scared or overwhelmed or anxious, all of those things. When our physical body is contracted, our auras can also contract to keep us safe. But I have found, and you can play with this and practice this for yourself, all of our body minds are different, that actually the thing that is helpful for me to feel safer in my body is when I allow my aura to expand. Because when my aura is allowed to be as big as it is, when it is allowed to let energy like move and flow through it, then I'm actually more divinely protected. So it can feel counterintuitive, but it's something to try on. It's true for me. It may not be true for you, but give it a try. So right now, just noticing, again, finding a little more spaciousness in our physical body. And then all that is really required for us to expand our aura is the intention, just thinking about it. We don't have to like, you don't have to overthink if you're like, can't feel my aura. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, that's cool too. You have one. It's there. I promise you. Um, and we can just be in intention. I would like to feel my aura get bigger. I have the intention of my aura getting larger. I have the intention of feeling sufficiently safe to be as energetically big as I am. 6, 8, 10, 20 feet, whatever that is. I get to take up as much energetic space as I need. And just practice with that. Again, you could even practice with like, let me let my aura be 10% larger, 20% larger, and just titrating. Again, coming back into our physical body and just noticing how it feels. This is a practice. So I've just shared a lot. I would suggest, if this is all very new to you, pausing, going back to the beginning, and like digesting this in chunks. As always, take what resonates, leave the rest. Try the practice. If you're like, this feels fucking terrible, it's not for you. That's totally fine. If you're like, oh, this feels so good and juicy, thank you, then I honor and encourage you to try this on throughout the day as much as possible. Ooh, is my aura contracted right now? Am I physically contracted? Can I find more spaciousness and openness in my physical body? Can I let my aura be larger? You can also practice this like before going into a hard conversation or into a conversation or just space with that has been difficult for you or brings you some anxiety. Before you like do watch the news or get onto social media, we can practice like finding center, allowing our bodies to expand, or allowing our auras to expand, taking up the like fullness of who we really are. This is important. This is important for our awakening. This is important for abolition on the planet. It requires us to be in right relationship with self. It requires us to be able to take up space, to be in the fullness of who we are physically and energetically. So, a helpful practice. Would love to hear how this aligns for you or not in the comments below. I love you. I am you. If you want more practices and prompts and rooting rituals, definitely subscribe to my Substack. I'll put that link in the notes below. And if not, stay tuned for the next sacred somatic practice and channel download next month. And if you haven't checked out the April monthly channel download, definitely do that as well. All right, y'all. I'll be back again soon. Until then, keep it real spiritual.